We are 15 matches into the season. Jolic has 9 goals. He's got a legitimate shot at having a 20-goal season if he keeps up this pace. I mean, this is very clearly through the first 15 games of the season. This is the best season a Sporting KC striker has had since Dom Dwyer. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. And Dan, Mr. Flag Waving Man,
bro,
Victory Pod.
We do. We got an away Victory Pod.
Victory Pod.
We've been quick draw McGraw for a bit. All right, We're just racking up draws, and it feels oh so good to get 3 points.
Can I tell you, since you said that, a totally off-topic story about the name Quick Draw McGraw?
Okay.
When I was in college, I was in marching band, and in marching band at USC, everybody, like, you go through band camp your freshman year, and like by the end of band camp, they give you a quote unquote band name because marching band is silly, and a lot of the band names probably wouldn't be acceptable anymore.
Probably not. Tell us some of those. Let us know.
Well, I'm not gonna say any of those. But mine was Quick Draw McGraw is what they named me. And I remember being like, because Quick Draw, if you've seen him, he's like a cowboy horse looking thing. He's got a really long head. So they pegged me as having like a long face.
That's cool, bro.
And they'd literally, like, every time they'd see me, they'd be like, why the long face, Quick Draw?
That's bullying as hell.
Welcome to marching band.
Looking back, oh my God, what a horrible time. Have you talked about this with your therapist?
I haven't talked about that. I'd actually talked about it with other people who were in marching band at the time, and we were like, this was wild. And thankfully, mine was not nearly as bad as some of the others. And there's a reason, the marching band has a lot more oversight now than it used to.
Decades later, someone's going to be like, why the long face, Jimmy? And you're just going to go,
I'm a flashback.
Just break down.
Yeah. No, it's
okay.
That's, you said Quick Draw McGraw, and I had like PTSD flashback to
you talking to me?
Yeah, my freshman year. Yeah. So, but we did get a victory pod on the road, or a victory on the road.
We did, dude. And it was, oh my God, what a fun one to watch. There were 3 goals from us in this game. This was amazing.
This was a goddamn wild game.
Is this because we had Kerry on the pod last week? Probably. Is that what it was?
It's the No Other Pod bump. We know we had Dennis Halley on. He went on his little goal scoring run after that. Sure. You know, this is probably the No Other Pod bump that Kerry got. So
feels good, man. Feels good. Got a lot of love from that Kerry interview last week, by the way. A lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
Our own people liked it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
a lot of good times.
You asked him if he had considered scoring earlier, and they did score in the first half this game. Barely.
They sure did. Just barely. I need to chill my shit when I just ask ridiculous questions. Like that was unhinged. I mean, you would think I had an edible or something, and I did not.
I don't think we talked about that at length really in our sort of retrospective last week, but it was so he handled it very well. But it is funny because every once in a while you ask a question, and like when you asked Peter the question about falling down, like you were gearing up for it, you knew that would hit me out of the blue, and I was like,
got you good. It got you good. The delivery, I gotta say, my delivery was good. But here was my favorite part. I've been watching this a few times, and he loses it and kind of breaks and like scratches his face, and then his face goes from this to this. Jimmy, he goes. He's just laughing, and then serious. Go ahead, hit me with the serious question. I was like, oh shit, he turned it on.
Well, if you haven't heard our interview with Kerry Zavagnin, I highly encourage you to go back to last week's episode and listen to it. It's a great interview. It gives you a lot of good insight into Kerry and the transition and his mindset and what he's looking for from the team going forward. So really, really appreciate you all if you have listened, and appreciate the kind words. We're going to try to do stuff like that as much as we reasonably can. So,
well, I mean, come on, man. Who needs a bump over here, dude? Do we need to be talking to Jensen Miller? I mean,
Jensen Jansen?
Someone else called him Jansen.
Was it Rogan Dino? Because
It might have been.
he was on the call again. He still doesn't know how to pronounce Volater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's very awkward, but whatever, man. We're here, and I think that there's some good moments to talk about in this game, dude. And fresh breaking news today is team of the week stuff going on, man. We got 2 players on that shit this week.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. We will talk about all of this. There's lots to talk about, good and bad in the game. You know, first goals for players on Sporting Kansas City, team of the weeks, etc. Lots of fun stuff. Before we get too far into that, I do have to ask you some sad news in the world of WWE. Just broke a couple days ago, and our boy, R-Truth, Ron Killings.
R-Truth, K-Quick.
He is apparently no longer going to be with the World Wrestling Entertainment Company, and it's pretty sad.
Could be a big rib, you know what I mean? Could be a who knows what's going to come of this.
That would be crazy if it is, because that means they would have even duped all of the like wrestling. We're breaking news to Nick right now. This is terrible. I'm so sorry, Nick.
It's been wild.
His contract's not being renewed, and he's being released, and it sucks. I've never seen like the locker room, like wrestlers like openly basically being like, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
for a release like this. And then they announced Carlito's being released too. So all the comic relief just out the window.
No more fun in wrestling. Jokes? Yeah, we don't have jokes here. Nothing.
I saw someone say that, and this would have been way better, if they knew they were going to do this and they have this whole John Cena heel turn, like I'm going to ruin wrestling storyline going, they should have had the Saturday night main event of R-Truth versus Cena be championship versus career. If R-Truth wins, he gets the championship. If Cena wins, R-Truth has to retire. And then that would have been ruining wrestling. And
that'd have been interesting.
They didn't think that far ahead. This is why they should hire us as writers.
Hey, man, there's always it seems like they're always hiring writers, but like you got to go travel with them. Like that would be insane. That's a single man's game, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you get paid like dog shit.
But I can't imagine. I'm sure it's a great job. I mean, that'd be fun though.
It'd be fun for a bit, but it's like you hear the tales of like the SNL writers' room, and it's like you get paid terrible. You're working until 4 a.m. You're on all sorts of drugs, and then you're hoping that one day you might make it.
Yeah, and you're hoping that your sketch gets picked, and it doesn't always, you know.
Right.
Dude, I'm still rocking my little knife wound right now. I still got stitches going on. People, I hope you moly individuals, I hope you're getting checked, because some of these moles are. Yeah, look at you.
That's my breaking news. Turns out,
are you stitched up?
Not yet.
Okay.
Who knew skin cancer was contagious via podcast?
Is it? They said, "Hey, this is cancer."
They said so. I went and I had my dermatologist check last week, and I was like, I had a feeling that it might be. I had like a little dry skin spot that was like scabbing over repeatedly. It was like kind of coming and going, but wasn't really going away. I had gone to like the health center at my work last October because it's free. And I was like, is it eczema? Is it something that? And they're like, oh, maybe it's an ingrown hair. Like what? So I followed that. Didn't go away. Going to my dermatologist. Dermatologist walks in, doesn't take half a second, doesn't get close to me, looks at my neck. And first thing she says is, have you ever had skin cancer before? I was like, shit, okay. Well, I feel like there might have been a better way to introduce that concept to me.
See, they know. They got eyes for that stuff, man.
But
you got to cut out of there.
Not yet. They did the biopsy, and then I'm going to have to do the little 30-minute procedure hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But this is the No Other Pod PSA. Listen. Wear sunscreen. Go to a dermatologist, get your skin checked, because it's highly treatable. I'm very fortunate that this isn't, it's the word cancer, so it's scary, but this isn't like liver cancer or pancreatic cancer or whatnot. This is something that if you catch it early, it's very treatable. So make sure you're wearing sunscreen, protecting yourself, and getting your skin checked.
Didn't you have people from your job like make fun of you for wearing sunscrreen? And are they making fun of you now?
I don't know that they were making fun of me so much for wearing sunscreen. I know when I was at Disney last 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, one of my cousins, I was reapplying sunscreen every 2 hours on the dot. Like I set reminders on my phone, And he'd be like, already? Again? I'd be like, it's been 2 hours. He's like, that seems too often. And I was like, well, I looked at the UV index and it was literally an 11, the highest it could be in Florida. I was like, I'm not risking it. So it's not worth it.
No, dude, you are a redheaded man, and it means your skin is quite fair.
Yep.
Like, you need to be bathing in this sunscreen.
Yep.
I mean, not everyone becomes a bronze god like I do, but I will.
But even if you tan, I think this is one of those things that a lot of people don't realize. Even if you tan, that doesn't mean that your skin still can't get UV damage from the sun and ultimately develop skin cancer. So that's why even if you tan, I'm not saying you have to be putting on SPF 70 like I do. But even if you tan, putting on, SPF 30 is important because you can still get tan wearing SPF sunscreen. It'll just protect you from the cancer part of it. So,
yeah, I probably don't put on sunscreen enough, but also I just stay out of the sun because it's hot. I just don't like sweating, my man. So like, I don't really do sunscreen because I'm not out there.
The thing that'll suck for me is because, and I've wondered this because I was even in Florida last week and I put on sunscreen. I didn't get sunburn. And she was like, well, it wouldn't have come from that, which I wasn't suggesting. But she was like, it could have been from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We don't really know. It could be genetic. The thing that sucks.
Like, I wasn't saying that. That's not what I meant. I'm just letting you know, I was just letting you know what I was up to.
I was just proud I didn't get sunburned in Florida walking around Disney World all day.
I wanted to let you know I use sunscreen. So where's my gold star?
Can I have a lollipop?
Yeah.
Since it's on the left side of my neck, what I've wondered is that's the driver's side of my car. So like the sun coming through the window, I wonder if because I drive a lot and like in LA, I drove a lot. I wonder if over the years, just not I don't think to wear sunscreen in the car. It's not something anybody I think really thinks about. If it's just like, oh, sun constantly beating on that side of my neck, if that's why it developed. But
someone's listening to us right now and they're like, you know what? I'm going to get on there. I'm going to schedule a derm appointment. You know what I mean? Hit the dermatologist.
It's easy and it's not a big deal to get taken care of, especially if you catch it early. It's better to catch it early and have it taken care of than to wait too long. So that's my PSA.
Yeah, man.
So let's take our break real quick. We'll come back. We'll talk soccer. There's lots to break down in this game. So we'll take our break and we'll be right back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Folks, it's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks Flex Plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competition, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. Here's what you got to do. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 14 days. Limited time offer terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Oh, dude, it has been a week since we talked last. I went and saw that Mission Impossible, my man.
Mhm.
And I know you're not a Mission Impossible guy, but gosh dang it.
I think it's not that I'm not a Mission Impossible guy. It's just that I've never seen them. I think if I saw them, I would like them. It's just at this point, there's like 8 of them, 9 of them.
I mean, there's like 7 or 8.
All of them.
I think 8.
47. So
That's curious.
At some point, I will see them. I think I also
most, dude.
Yeah, I know. I think I also still, because like when we were younger, like Tom Cruise, like I feel like Tom Cruise has had like a career renaissance where now he's being taken a lot more seriously as like an actor. Whereas like there was that period of time in like the mid 2000s, early 2010s where it was Tom Cruise was kind of a goofball Scientologist jumping on Oprah's couch. Like Mission Impossible wasn't taken all that seriously, and now he's kind of like, I mean, people are like, oh, he's the guy that saved movie theaters.
Now you're seeing behind the scenes stunt stuff, and he's like transferring between airplanes.
Right.
Like it is
crazy.
And like underwater stuff, it was insane. If I had the money and the fitness, though, I'd be so on board as well. I'd be so down because like some of that stuff he's doing looks awesome.
You want to hear a crazy stat, I guess you could call it, though?
Sure.
Tom Cruise in this latest movie is the same age that Ian McKellen was when he filmed Fellowship of the Ring as Gandalf.
The dude's ageless. I mean, he is a vampire. It's no question.
So, but yeah, well, I'll have to check it out.
You got Paramount Plus? Or are you trying to share it?
I might. I think I have my brother's or my dad's login because he subscribes to a USC message board that I think like comes with a Paramount Plus login if you pay for the year or whatever, something like that.
That's pretty dope. Okay.
So it's one of those weird, like, oh, they have a partnership with CBS, and I don't know, maybe they use CBS's website for the message board or whatnot. So
gotcha.
I'll have to go back and look. I don't watch Paramount Plus all that often unless it's like Champions League. So I'll have to go back.
I watch it pretty often. There's some good, there's some stuff I watch.
Okay.
Criminal Minds? Come on, man. Criminal Minds?
That's not my thing.
Yeah, of course, because you live alone.
Yeah. Well, Stranger Things coming out this fall.
Get
ready. I'm excited.
Netflix thing. Just when I'm ready to cancel Netflix, I'm like, Netflix has nothing for me. And then it's like, well, they got some stuff.
Yeah. Before we jump into the game, I do also want to just give a quick plug. I will actually be this Saturday from noon to 2 in downtown Lee Summit at the Lee Summit Downtown Days. I'll be sitting at the sports booth representing KCSN for a couple hours. So
really, just you from KCSN or anybody else?
Me, the guy, Fred from Lee Summit Tribune. He's reached out a couple times. I haven't been able to do it in the last couple of years. I was going to invite you, but I figured you probably don't want to drive from Topeka for 2 hours to sit in Lee Summit with me.
Too much going on a Saturday as well.
Yeah, but I'll be there. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Lee Summit Downtown Days is really fun. I mean, it's basically like a little fair, but there's lots of good food. They got rides, they got music, they got drinks. I'll be there noon to 2 Saturday at the sports booth. So come say hi and chat it up. And I'll be the one in the giant hat trying to stay out of the sun. So
nice. Very cool.
Yeah, should be fun. Let's talk about this game. We didn't get a chance to really talk about it a ton last week because we had Kerry on, and obviously that was the most important thing. But Houston, whenever we go down to Houston, it always feels like even though there's nobody in the stands, it shouldn't be that hard of a place to play. It always feels like they give us more trouble than they should. And they're not a good team this year, but they're a decent team. So I'm not going to sit here and say I was especially confident, certainly in getting a win, let alone a result, heading down on the road to Houston this game. But I don't know, what was your feeling like heading into the match?
No expectations, dude. I was like, I don't know what this team is yet. You know what I mean? We're really fighting. We're having these comebacks. The lineup's going to look a little different. Mm-hmm. I believe Tim Leibold was on the bench. Mm-hmm. You had Ndembe in there. Joaquin Fernandez had to come in because Boulder had freaking clavicle surgery.
Yeah, that's wild.
Been there, bro. I've heard.
Oh, for real?
Collarbone like that. Yeah.
That sounds like it sucks.
That sucked. In a wrestling match, yeah. maybe the shortest wrestling match in the history of wrestling matches in 7th grade. Guy takes me, throws me to the ground, lands on me, collarbone goes pop, he pins me. I swear to God, that's how the match started.
How to do that in like Olympic wrestling, like throw down like that?
You tie up, throw him down, and I just have to be stronger. And I wasn't. I weighed a lot, but I was not that strong. So I had to be in the heavyweight division against all these humongous guys, and I was not humongous.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Well, so you know what Robert Volder's going through right now.
I know it sucked, and I had to wear this thing around school that popped my shoulders back, but like people had to carry my backpack for me, so that was kind of cool.
That's yeah.
But yeah, pretty wild. But luckily, hey, we got a guy named Joaquin Fernandez just waiting to come in. You know what I mean? We've forgotten about this guy, right? Because he hasn't played.
He's been dealing with some injuries himself, yeah.
And Kyrie Shelton gets to start. Brand spanking new Tim Wachawinga pink hair. Gotta love it.
That's crazy.
I'm all about that, though. I'll never lose track of him on the field. I'm like, there he is.
There he is. That's Kyrie. Yeah, it was an interesting lineup because we had a number of spots that were rotated, some of whom were for injury. Obviously, Robert Volder was out, so Joaquin Fernandez had to step in. We had Zoran Basong and Jacob Bartlett step into the midfield because Jake Davis and Nemanja Radia are still out with injury. There was hope that maybe Radia might be able to play this week, but he was still out. So we had the youngster Bartlett and Zoran Basong, who's about to go on international duty. He stepped in. And then Eric Tommy rotated into the starting right wing spot in place of Shapi Suleimanov, which I'm not going to read too much into one way or the other. But what I will say is it's nice when you have depth where you can have people rotate in and not really lose a ton of quality because Tommy's a great player.
I think Kerry Zavagnin listened to our episodes. I believe we said, look at Eric coming on and making an impact as a sub. Have we ever thought, I swear to God, one of us said this. I'm probably just going to say that I said it to make it sound good. Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. About starting Tommy and Daniel together. Yeah. And it's like they play off each other really well, man, with Joveljic sandwiched in there. There were some dangerous moments for us. It didn't happen until later on in the game, right? It was arguably we were kind of a lackluster team to start this thing, but we picked it up.
Man, those first, 3 minutes? Pulskamp, two crazy saves right off the bat that were two identical plays where Houston was whipping the ball in from the right side, and they had a free header in the 6-yard box, and Pulskamp just total cat-like reflex reactionary saves where he's not even thinking, he's just reacting.
It should have never happened. I mean, I hope that I hope John didn't have to pay for a meal or a drink all week. I'll tell you that, because he kept us alive in this thing, dude. Like 8 saves, I believe it was, and spoiler alert, team of the week, just team of the match day, if you will. But I think he had 8 saves.
Yep, because they had 9 shots. They had 22 shots, 9 on target. If you just want to talk about the stats for this game, the XG for Houston, 2.96 to 1.12 for Sporting Kansas City. So the advanced stats say that this game should have been a 3-1 game. Yes, it just should have been the other way. So I'm not saying that to sit here and be like, Sporting shouldn't have won this game or whatnot. But I mean, John Pulskamp won this game for Sporting Kansas City in a lot of respects because those 2 shots right off the bat, those 2 free headers, I don't know if there was just a little bit of confusion with Fernandez and Jansen Miller still trying to figure out their partnership or what, but you should not have in the first 3 minutes, it was something like 50 seconds apart from each other or something crazy, that many free headers at the 6-yard line. And Pulskamp just came up huge. It easily could have been 2-0 in the first 3 minutes, and it wasn't simply because of John Pulskamp.
It was tough, man. Even like in the 8th minute, I think they had to make John sprawl out to his left for a diving little save there. Probably easier of a dive than normal, but come 13 minutes in, we make these guys another goal of the week candidate, I assume. I haven't looked at the goals of the week yet to know if that's true. But this was insane. Just curves it around John. I don't know how he even gets open. Kyrie's got the guy like sandwiched in the corner, taken care of, and he just ends up able to curl around and get out of trouble for this goal.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a funky goal because Linger is the one that Kyrie has sandwiched sort of over in the corner, and he just sort of escapes from the corner. Kyrie, I don't know, he just kind of loses him. And then Linger finds Kowalczyk, who's just open in the box. And I don't know if it was Manu who was supposed to be on him or Jacob Bartlett didn't close down in the way that he was supposed to. But Kowalczyk, yeah, I mean, this is, again, sometimes with these goals, you just got to, you can nitpick like, okay, nobody closed down or whatnot. But if you're John Pulskamp, in terms of what you can do here, you just got to tip your cap because he does a full out dive. This is just a golazzo curled perfectly into the top right corner. Once that ball is off cleanly, there's nothing Pulskamp can do.
And to amend what I said, it is a goal of the match day candidate. So it's beautiful.
It keeps happening to us.
It just sucks, man. At least it wasn't a bicycle. Thank God we're not, thank God we've hopefully moved past that. But they were not done sending dangerous balls into the box. Like, I was just waiting for one of their headers to get on top of it and slam it home, dude. But that being down 1-0 like that early on, I'm tired of it. It doesn't feel good.
It does not feel good. It does not feel good at all. And you're right. Like if you look at the stats and sort of the momentum of this game, yeah, for a large portion of this game, they were in control. Sporting had a couple opportunities here and there. There was a set piece that was from distance, so Sporting took that went over the bar, and a couple of opportunities here and there. But really, this was Houston's game to control for the vast majority of it. And Sporting isn't typically a team that's been coming back. Yeah, in the 26th minute, it was Kowalczyk again from almost the exact same spot, almost did it again, and it went just wide. They had, opportunity after opportunity, and Pulskamp kept coming up huge. I want to say it was the 38th minute. Griffin Dorsey had a one-on-one with Pulskamp, and it just bounces right off Pulskamp's chest, and then luckily bounces off of Dorsey and then out of bounds.
Yeah, it was like they chested it back and forth to each other. I mean, that was insane.
Legitimately, should have been 3 additional goals scored in the first half that Pulskamp alone stopped.
Dude's coming into his own, man. I'm all about it. And as this half progresses, I'm like, man, we're really going to go into halftime down 1-0, and that sucks. But what? Nah. Joveljic, dude.
This just kind of comes out of nowhere, almost.
And we're in stoppage time here. It's going to be the whistle soon. And we damn near scored at the death, didn't we?
Yeah, it was in the 48th minute, and so there was 50 minutes total because 5 minutes of stoppage time. This was 48th minute. But yeah, Sporting's just kind of like moving the ball down in the attack. That nothing too crazy is happening. Jansen Miller sends it out wide to Kyrie Shelton, who tries to send a cross in. Houston gets to it, deflects away, just doesn't get all of it, and Joveljic just finds the ball, takes one little touch, and then calmly off his left foot into the corner of the net. Suddenly it's 1-1. If you were going to tell me, especially after the way that those first 3 minutes of the game started, and then they get a goal in the first 13 minutes, that we'd somehow get into the half 1-1, absolutely would have taken it.
Feels great. Feels really great, dude. New ball game. You're on the road. Now momentum is in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a hell of a halftime. And of course, my wife's already fallen asleep by this point. And I'm like, you need to get up for this shit. This ain't even a late game.
No. And Sporting came out, talk about, there have been a couple times where Sporting's come out in the second half and they've given up a goal early. Sporting almost scored a second goal, 70 seconds in. Dejan Joveljic again from the spot. I don't know how he sort of is able to bring this ball down on his first touch, but he gets it on target. But that's the skill he has. He damn near put Sporting Kansas City ahead in the 47th minute, and it was the Houston keeper who pulls a Pulskamp and keeps it level. So, and then Houston went down the field and almost did it again, and Pulskamp had to come up big again. I mean, this game was end to end, like nonstop.
It truly was. I was like, who's playing defense around here? Like, I don't know, man. Pulskamp's really seeing the ball well, and that's nice. By the way, on that little miss on Joveljic, that block, he could have let that go through, and Daniel was wide open. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, man. And then the freaking goal of the week nominee right here, 52 minutes in, corner kick comes in, and I thought Jansen Miller was going to open it up. What a header on frame, dude. And it hits off the crossbar, and Jansen Miller's just like, oh, shit. And he goes to get his rebound. But Joveljic is there to do a little falling scissor kick, will you? What's he do here?
I'm not really sure. I mean, he's in the right place at the right time. I'll say that. And yeah, it's like a half scissor kind of deal where he's like falling away on his side. But again, between the shot in the 47th minute and this shot, the skill and the quality to not only get those on frame, but get them on frame with some level of power, like that is why we brought in Joveljic for the amount of money that we did. This isn't to shit talk Alan Pulido. I just don't think Alan Pulido could do these types of things anymore. He just was a little older, wasn't quite as athletic as Joveljic, and we just simply didn't see Alan Pulido do these types of things.
Well, your number 9 now has 2 goals in the game, and it's like that's all you can ask for, man.
Mm-hmm.
If your star striker is scoring twice in a game and everyone else is picking it up around him, that's a really good sign.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this is the first time. I mean, like, yes, Alan Pulido was really good, but we are 15 matches into this season. Joveljic has 9 goals. He's got a legitimate shot at having a 20-goal season if he keeps up this pace. I mean, this is very clearly through the first 15 games of the season. This is the best season a Sporting KC striker has had since Dom Dwyer. Like,
okay,
arguably, because what Alan Pulido's best year, he had 14 goals through 28 matches. That was 2023. No other year he was with Sporting Kansas City that he played did he score more than 8 goals. Dejan Joveljic already has 9 through his first 15.
That's
so
amazing.
He's already outplayed, I would argue, Alan Pulido in any year that Pulido was in a Sporting Kansas City shirt.
I love that, man. And
and he's younger.
Yeah. I like that. We almost freaking relinquished our lead, bro, towards the end of about the 88th minute.
Oh, gosh.
They did a little back heel situation. I was like, that's going to go right in the damn net. And luckily it was just right out of bounds. But
they were coming quite a bit for the last 30 minutes of this game. I mean, if you look at FOTMob, they have like the momentum meter, and it switches where Sporting Kansas City had the momentum up until, from the 45th to the 40th to the 60th minute. And then it's just nothing but Houston for the rest of the time.
It was insane. And I thought, okay, we're going to hang on to this 2-1. Nah, we're going to go up 3-1. And this little, oh my God, first of all, gorgeous assist by Daniel just to hit the open guy. And Munoz, oh my gosh, he's a new guy on the team.
Yep.
Getting a goal, man. Feels good, dude.
Yep. It's pretty wild. I mean, really, really good for Munoz. And I don't know if you saw on social after, excuse me, they put it up on Instagram of Eric Tommy giving him the game ball, and it was on the plane. He got on there, and he just basically was like, "Hey, shout out to Santi for his first goal. Many more to come." And gave him the game ball. So
that's awesome.
I was very, very happy for Santi Moreno. So, but yeah, overall, I mean, 3-1, you can't get much better than this. If you are asking, a Sporting Kansas City fan, what would you like to see from a road game in Houston?
Our comfort level is growing, man. We're starting to play together a little bit. Why not? Why don't we just test our mettle this weekend against LAFC? That sounds like the biggest test yet.
Well, and especially LAFC, who they are coming off a huge win against Club America, where they just earned a spot in the FIFA Club World Cup, which was crazy. I don't know if you saw any of the scenes from LA. It was a Club America home game. That's what it was. It just was absolutely insane, and they were able to come through and pull it off. So LAFC, they're not what they once were, but it'll be a tough game. That's for sure. So we'll see. But I don't know. The Kerry Zavagnin after this game, he said, I thought we were undone in the first half. New England got the better of us in the first 15 minutes. Houston did the same thing, but nothing but really good overall praise for the team overall. And I think, at this point, if you look at where things stand in the standings, Sporting Kansas City are now 16 points. They're 4 points off Houston for that last playoff spot. Are you even entertaining the idea of a possible playoff conversation?
Oh, why is it out of the conversation? Like, yeah, you entertain the idea because it's Major League Soccer and shit gets crazy and we're just reaching the summer months and it's like you start getting hot at this point. I mean, bro, our goal differential is -3. Well, that's the same as Houston and Colorado. They're bad like that as well, and they're in a playoff position.
Yeah,
Austin and Dallas are -9 and -8, and they're above us. So, like, who's to say we can't start getting this done, man? Because if you want to make up points, you erase that negative goal differential, ideally.
Yep. So I'm not going to sit here and say confidently that we are going to get in the playoff spot, but it's certainly a possibility at this point.
Of course it is. I mean, you can get in there with a losing record, dude. Like San Jose has lost more games than they've won.
Yeah.
Same with Houston.
It's pretty wild that we're the way that this season started, that we're sitting here even having this conversation as a possibility.
We are now at 1 point per game, so it's pretty exciting.
Which it's gonna have to be better than that if we are gonna make the playoffs. That's not going to end up being what it is. But
also, I got the chip shots back as well. So
let's do it. Give it to me.
All right, now what? Hold on. Theme song. Bow, 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 bow. Chip shot, motherfucker. All right. Sorry. Don't make me laugh, buddy. This game, though. Oh, no, there it is. In what felt like a decently physical game, SKC pulls out a come-from-behind win, improving SKC's record to 4-3 since Kerry took over. But I don't know who we are as a team anymore. We're scoring multiple goals, all with our number 9 on the field. Wild stuff. Let's take a look. We cannot talk about this game without discussing Pulskamp and his 8 saves of 9 shots on target. Houston finished the game with a whopping 2.9 XG compared to their 1 they got in the net, and a lot of this credit goes to Pulskamp, who had a monumental game. 8 saves is quite the stat for the match, and what I want people to focus on. As a team, SKC hasn't had that many saves in one match since the April 8th game against LA Galaxy in 2018, where there were 10 shots. And somehow, even then, in that game, LA only had a 1.6 XG, so they weren't exactly throwing quality at Melia then, but I digress. In the first 10 minutes, Houston pulled out 4 shots, 3 of them requiring saves, and totaling for 0.63 of their 2.9 XG for the game. Running over 20% of your XG in just over 10% of the game is wild. But Pulskamp delivered one of the best goalkeeper performances I think I've seen. This game, though, like others we've seen as of late, came in massive waves. The Dynamo pressed and carried a massive amount of the momentum for the first 40-ish minutes before SKC's pregame coffee kicked in, and then we launched into a flurry of punches. Looking at the stat sheet, SKC only had 13 shots all game with 4 on target, but it is important to note that 10 of those happened in an 18-minute span with 2 goals to show for it. I'm no technical whiz, but concentrating our attack into that is not something I've seen before in the team. I can't say I can complain with the results. SKC has had more wins than any other one result in their last 10 matches, but playing down to the wire and letting Houston try to land any kind of blow in the twilight hours of the match just has me holding my breath for the last 30 minutes. So, to recap on shots, in the first 40 minutes, Houston had 8 shots to Sporting's 2. In the next 18 minutes, Houston has 1 shot to Sporting's 10. In the remaining 29 minutes, Houston had 13 shots to Sporting's 1. But the fact that the 1 shot we had at the end of the game was a goal from our new guy, that feels good. Let's get him on the pot. But this concentration of the attack is reminiscent of what happened in the game against the Revs. Next up is LAFC in California, who is sitting pretty at 6th in the West, 1.8 points per game in their last 5 matches, and who hasn't lost a league game since April 5th against the Houston Dynamo. LAFC is 5-1-1 at home, with literally 3 times the goals forced per game at home compared to their goals allowed per game at home, 1.71 versus 0.57 respectively. That 0.57 goals allowed per game while at home, the best in MLS. This is compared to SKC's 2-2-5 record away this season, but it's 2-2-2 since Kerry took the helm. Let's see some sparks fly, and not just in the middle 30 minutes of the match.
I mean, I think that's the thing, is if we can put together a complete performance, which is what Kerry talked about last week too, that's really what we've been waiting for, and what we've been hoping for, is that can Sporting Kansas City find defensively what they have been put on display for a period of games? Can they ultimately put it together offensively and continue to make it work? And, you know, if you look at the scoreline of this game, 3-1, you would think good offensive performance, good defensive performance. If you go a step deeper and you look at what actually happened on the field, there were some holes defensively that Pulskamp bailed the team out with, and the attack had spurts, but again, got a little lucky at times. So, but hey, 3 points is 3 points. It's progress. 16 points now in the season. 15 of those are under Kerry Zavagnin. I think that's huge. So I have a question for you. What I was talking about this with somebody over the weekend. What does Kerry Zavagnin have to do for you, or what does this team have to do throughout the rest of the season for you to feel comfortable saying, I think Kerry Zavagnin should be the guy going forward?
I think finding them, you know, working as a team, right? Like the passing just on point, the assists looking amazing, goals obviously will be great, but I think just a cohesive unit, right? And not, I don't know, I think fixing some problems too, like fixing some issues on the set pieces, or, you know, just headers in general. I mean, we saw that last game, just getting, people were just open, and you found someone like Joaquin looking at his defenders like, why didn't you help me? Like, or talk to me, you know what I mean? So I think they just need to get on the same page a little bit in the back line for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And my dog agrees too. Again, my neighbor started mowing, and she's pissed about it now.
Oh, yeah, lawn care? Dogs don't like lawn care.
Out there, the neighbors start mowing.
Oh, I get it. I bet if you let her out, there will be no mowing.
Well, that's probably true. I might have to let her out of this room here in a second if she doesn't be quiet. I'm going to let her out here. All
right, you go right ahead. Look at him. Here we go again. This happened last week or 2 weeks ago, didn't it? Guys, it's my show now, so Jimmy can't hear me. He has no idea. I could sing Jimmy Crack Corner. I don't care. But he would never even know. Can you hear me at all?
Not when I got up.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Headphones in, yeah.
So now you have to listen to the pod, because it was probably the best part of it, really.
I will. Well, you know, I always go back and listen to what we say, because I like hearing it.
Do you really?
No. Have to.
Oh.
I listened to the interview.
The whole thing?
Yeah. I want to know what we talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to black out during things like that, so I can see that.
I just think it's a fun thing to hear and figure out what's going on. So.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so Sporting Kansas City, they get the victory. LAFC now on the road. How are you feeling against this LAFC team? I know that we've said that it's, you know, they're a good team, but they're also kind of coming off an emotional high with this win over Club America.
It's insane to think that if you win this game, you are only 4 points behind LAFC, which is wild to think of. But it's dude, anyone can beat anybody, man. You start clicking on all cylinders. It's an any given Sunday situation. Now, this game was added to our schedule. We weren't even supposed to have a game this weekekend.
We were not.
Like, we were going to be off.
Yeah.
Wasn't this game going to be like tomorrow?
Last week.
Oh, was it last week?
It was within a few days of this Club America game, and that's ultimately why they moved it.
You're right. I think it was going to be like last Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
Either way, it moved to a slot where I can't watch the whole game, so I'm mad.
Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday. So you're going to put that right in the middle of the Tonys as well? I don't know if you guys watch award shows. I get excited. Yeah, Tony's night.
Well, we'll see.
That's not why I can't watch. I got something else going on entirely.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I said, with this team, I never feel confident going on the road. Can they get a result? Yes. If they play to their potential, sure. I think it'll be massive to know, is Jake Davis available? Is Nemanja Radia available? Because Zorn Basong will not be available. Zorn Basong did not travel back with the team because he'll be on international duty. I know somebody in Houston who said they saw Zorn Basong out at the bar after the game celebrating. So,
oh man, I tell you one thing, that's where you gotta love the National Women's Soccer League, where there is no overlap with international duty. They just take the time off.
Yeah. So it's will be interesting because Zorn looked pretty good. You know, he filled in well in that midfield. He came in as a left back and he's been serviceable at midfielder. So, but you know, LAFC is a good team. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I think I agree with you regarding Kerry. Like, I don't know what Kerry. This team, the hard thing is, like, this team has certainly been looking better. 15 points through Kerry's, what's it now, 10 or so games in charge, 11 games in charge. This is not a roster that he built. This is not even fully a roster that Mike Burns built. This is a roster that they are doing the best they can with. So it's hard, Sporting has to make a decision by the end of this year as to, is Kerry going to continue to have the keys to the castle, or are they bringing in somebody else? And I guess part of that depends on who else is available and willing to come. But I am glad that I am seeing progress. I'm glad that I'm seeing signs of growth with Sporting Kansas City. Do I think what we've seen so far is enough for me to say Kerry is definitively the guy? I don't know yet, but I
have to say, I'm just living in the moment.
Yeah, that's going to be sort of an interesting thing to watch over the back half of the season, is what rumors, if any, pop up regarding who Sporting KC may be linked to in terms of a coaching search. If they really are doing an international search like they say they are, there will be rumors that pop up because agents leak that kind of thing all the time for leverage purposes. And who do they bring in the summer transfer window? I mean, how much financial leeway are Mike Burns and Kerry Zavagnin going to have if ownership isn't yet convinced that they are the two people to lead this team into the future? Because we're coming up on the summer transfer window here pretty soon.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And Sporting are in a position now where they are close enough to a playoff spot where if they were able to make it work financially and roster construction wise, they could bring in some difference makers. It just depends, because we know that there's a lot of players who are still in contract through the rest of this year, at least defensively. So
yeah, there's a sense behind this team that Kerry Zavagnin's playing with house money here. Like the job is kind of his to lose in a sense. So like,
Mike Gillis said those words.
True, but also there's not a whole lot of pressure. It's not like I'm sure he doesn't feel like he's under the microscope, because it's like, here's a hole we've dug ourselves and we need to get out of it. And also he has a lot of like compassion towards this club because it's one of the only ones he's ever known.
Right.
So, I mean, it's he cares about it and he wants them to have success. And ideally when they have success, he'll be successful. So,
well, and he sounds like he's handling it well. I mean, based on the interview with us, interviews with other media outlets, I think overall he's handling the situation pretty well. He knows what's in his control and he knows what's not in his control. He's doing the best he can. So I'm cheering for Kerry. If it ends up being Kerry, nobody will be cheering harder for him than I will. If someone were to ask me what I think, which happened this weekend, I would just say I hope Sporting Kansas City makes the best decision they can. And I don't think that we have enough information yet to be able to say one way or the other what the best decision is. So
I think the most he can do is lead them to the playoffs, and that ideally would secure the spot. I would hope.
Yep. I would hope so too. So,
but even still, even if they just miss it, I mean, it's like that he could potentially have a shot at this job.
Sure, absolutely. I think anything is possible, and it's certainly well within the realm of reason that this could end up being Kerry Zavagnin's job in the long term.
Yeah.
So,
do you think when he took over the team, like, that's a pay raise, right? Ideally,
I would assume so.
They restructure whatever his deal is. I would think.
I would think so. I mean, it would be shocking to me that they didn't. I mean, that's suddenly a huge responsibility. So,
Oh yeah, I mean he's got to do all this media stuff now that he never had to do.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So it's I don't know. We'll see. But I'm having fun watching Sporting Kansas City again.
Having fun, dude.
Yeah. So we'll see. The other big news of the week, I guess, the LA Galaxy got their first win up the year. So congrats to them.
At the expense of RSL?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sucks to be them. Sucks to suck.
Good for them. Like we said, LAFC, they got their win over Club America. So now it's the Seattle Sounders, Inter Miami, and LAFC in the Club World Cup. If it were up to me, I guess I'm cheering for LAFC out of those three. I don't like any of them, but I would prefer them out of those three. Was there any other game? I mean, St. Louis won. That's annoying. They beat San Jose. But was there anything else that sort of caught your eye? There were a lot of midweek games in MLS this week, and a lot of high-scoring games. Red Bulls beat Charlotte in the midweek 4-2. Miami beat Montreal 4-2. Miami then beat Columbus 5-1. They went on a little sort of drought for a bit, and Miami feels like they're bouncing back.
Yeah.
I guess
Vancouver got an ass whooping.
That was what I was going to say. The bummer of the week was Cruz Azul just absolutely took it to Vancouver.
Tore them up. And that was the final, wasn't it?
That was the final. That's that.
It's kind of tough to watch that as a final.
Yeah,
they almost like Champions League final, right?
Yeah, they scored a couple of goals super fast, and then that was that. So,
wow,
Vancouver was never in it, and yeah, similar to how PSG just absolutely took it to Inter 5-0, and same thing. Inter was never really in it. Vancouver was never really in it, and yeah, sort of is what it is, unfortunately. So, but I think that's most of what we got for this week. You got anything else that you want to touch on for our good listeners?
Nah, nothing I can think of, man. There's no midweek games this week because there's not even every MLS team plays. So it looks like a couple friendlies were scheduled. San Diego's playing Club America, and then Philadelphia's playing Atlas on Saturday. Yeah. So I miss when Sporting used to play some friendlies there here and there, but alas, it is what it is. So you mentioned St. Louis fired their coach. We talk about that.
St. Louis did fire their coach, Olaf.
Pretty exciting.
He's gone.
Not for them.
that's been rumored for a little bit, and I don't know. I mean, I think this is the thing. St. Louis. This is now going to be their third coach in 3 or 4 years. This is what happened. Like, we were talking about this early on when they had that success. I was going to say first year, but really it was like the first 3 months of the first year where I think they set themselves up for unrealistic expectations as to what was to come. And unfortunately for them, that wasn't sustainable. And the advanced analytics showed it wasn't sustainable. And now, good luck digging yourself out of this hole.
Dude, it's you were way too excited when I mentioned that just now. You go, yes, it did.
I absolutely did. That was because I've talked about that with other people, but I forgot that happened because that happened, I think, pretty quick after we recorded our last episode.
Yeah.
So there's been a few coaches fired this season. This.
And St. Louis gets to go bounce back with an easy game at Portland, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's an interesting time to be a fan of the league for sure. So
totally.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. I'm super glad we got a victory pod to talk about. Hopefully we'll have another one next week when we're back here after the LAFC game. But yeah, make sure you give us that 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Come by the Lee Summit Downtown Day sports booth Saturday noon to 2. Come say hi to me if you're around. I'll be wearing a No Other Pod or KCSN shirt, so I'll be easy to spot. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, KCSN Soccer, or on the Kansas City Sports Network app, and shoot us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
We scored in the first half, y'all.